Well, hello everybody. I've been promising a video on how to start up your own shack if you're just getting into the hobby or you're just getting into it for whatever reason. I've been asked to go about it two ways. One is if you want to do strictly CW operations or Morse code, and the other if you want to just set up a regular shack like mostly what I have here. So we'll look at it kind of simultaneously if that's okay with you. The first thing you're going to need is you're going to need a transceiver. That's going to be your least expensive way to do it. If you want to go CW only or Morse code only, as it were, then those transceivers can be very inexpensive. You can buy single band transceivers for probably certainly less than $100. And maybe even quite a bit cheaper than that. I've seen them for as low as, if you're inclined electronically, kits for as low as $35 or $40 for single band transceivers, and they are low power, usually about 5 watts, 5 to 10 watts. You can send very well with MCW. You know, you're going to have a lot more range with CW than you will with voice. So you can do very well with a low power transceiver. You can certainly talk to the world that way. So that would be your first thing. The other thing you can do is do kind of what I have here. What I have here is kind of a mid-range transceiver. It is of course for sideband and CW and other things. It's an Icom IC7300, and this will set you back about $1,000 on anywhere you want to buy one, and even used ones right now will bring about that much, because it's a very, very popular radio. So if you see one for cheap, I'd question it. Just be sure it's okay, because they really right now they're bringing about almost what they bring for new within a couple of $100. But I think I found this one on sale a couple years ago for about $1,000, and that's still about what they're selling for. So you can do with this. This will go up to 100 watts. It's set on CW right now. There was somebody on there, but there's not at the moment. But anyway, you can do CW. You can do sideband. So if you get your technician's license, you can get on 10 meters on voice, and you can get on CW. Where you can get and so that would be the thing. The next thing you're going to need, let's see, I don't know if you can see, I'll get a specific shot of this in a minute. This is a power source. Let me turn down the 2 meter. This is a power source. It puts out a steady 12 volts to your radio so that your radios can be powered. You can do that with one of these. This thing certainly costs less than $100. I want to say I found it on sale at MTC or HRO, somewhere like that, for about $75, something like that. But it's a bench power source. It's a continuous 12-volt power supply is what it is, and you need that to run your radios. Your radios are going to run on that. The next thing you're going to need, of course, is a key, and we've talked about keys before. Here's my straight key right here, and here is my bug, and that's the only 2 keys I really have right at the moment. I don't know if you can see that very well or not, but anyway, that's my bug, and my straight key is right down here. You're going to have a key to send with. If you're a beginner, I certainly would recommend you start on the straight key and learn to do everything correctly on the straight key, and then it'll make other things easier for you as you go along. However, with the sidebar, that if something else works good for you, do it that way. It's hard enough without making it harder. So what I'm saying to you is, if you got something that works really well for you, if you can just do good on the bug and go slow enough to not send faster than you can receive, then do that. I mean, whatever works the best for you is what you need to try. If my method works best for you, you should use that. If it doesn't, find one that does work good for you. That's what you need to do, because everybody's not the same, and do that. But so please do what works the best for you. So now you got a key, you've got power for your radio, and you've got a radio. You've got to connect that radio to the air some way. I've got it connected to, right at the moment, it's connected to a 10-meter antenna outside, which is because of some bad weather we've had in the last few months. It's a wire stuck on a pole out there for 10 meters. It's a dipole. For whatever band you get, if you get a specific band, then get the specific antenna for it. Otherwise, you can get something like a G5RV, which is a long wire antenna, a very long wire. If you have the space to put that up, you put it up, and you can run several bands off of that. And the higher up you can get it, the better off you are. If you can get it in a tree somewhere, I used initially to get mine in a tree. I used a fishing rod and I threw a line up there, and then I pulled it up. Pulled my antenna up there. But what you need is the wire antenna, and you can look this up. It's real easy to find all the information exactly how to build one. Considering if you're going the route of Morse code only, then you're still doing pretty well on money. I have also an antenna tuner right here. This tunes the antenna that you got specifically to your radio, so that it matches up and you don't get a bunch of standing wave ratio on your antenna wire out there. So it tunes it up. Look all that up. I'm not all about that right at the moment for you, for the information on this video, but you'll need a way to make sure that this radio has a tuner in it, has an antenna tuner in it. But I do tune some frequencies. I do use this for some things, and I've had it for quite a long time. So it's still here and still gets used, but very rarely in my case, because this radio has a tuner in it. So now you've got your key, you've got your radio, you're connected to an antenna, you got your power source in your transceiver, and you got your power source to power your radio. So you're really good to go right there for CW. You can get on the air, you can talk to the world on 5 watts. I've heard people do it. I haven't done that myself, although I have made some pretty good contacts on very low wattage. But since I bought this radio, I leave it pretty much set on 100 watts. So I probably shouldn't do that, but I do. So please scold me for it. Those of you that know. Now, as I said, everything here I've got is what I'm using right now for both CW and for voice. The only expensive thing here is this radio. And like I said, it'll cost you about $1,000 to get this radio. If you get your technician's license, let me give you a hint. If you study for the technician license and want to get that to start with, that's wonderful. But read through the books for your general license too. I mean, just at least read through those tests, because they offered to test me for free for the general when I took my technician license, and I passed it. I mean, I passed the general. A lot of the questions are virtually the same questions. It's just expanded a little bit. So if you've really kind of got the technical thing down for the technical license, then by all means, if they offer to give you the general too, take the test at least. You have nothing to lose. You might pass it and get your general right then, and that's kind of what I did when I took the test some time ago. So be sure you do that. Otherwise, I don't know what else you'll need. You'll need up here. This is my login software here. I have a little teeny tiny one of those mini computers that's attached to the wall back here under the desk, under this shelf. And it runs login software. Now, the login software I use I think it's called Log for Old Men, and it's free on the internet, and it works just fine. I log everything on it, and it transfers everything from here over to QRZ. If you have a QRZ page, or you want to get a QRZ page, it transfers everything over to there. So you can use it for that, because it transfers everything automatically. You just set it up when you get it, and that works just fine. So there you go. That would be enough to get you started. And the only other issue you're going to have is a place, to do this. If you've got a place that's climate controlled in your garage, or in the basement, or even in an attic, or somewhere, the equipment is not too sensitive to cold, but it does get sensitive. I live in Texas. It gets really hot here, so I have to make sure I have air conditioning out here where I am. And where I am here, I'm in an old, it's an old tool shed that was just in the backyard. When we bought this house, this tool shed was sitting out here. And I decided to make it my radio shack. So I took everything out of it. I put a nice floor in it. I put nice walls in it, insulated everything, and made it really an office out of it, more or less, and a radio shack. And it's worked out really well for me. And it's a little cluttered right now, but anyways, it's my shack, and it works really well for that. That was simple to do. I've got up here on the wall, I've got a room air conditioner, which is way more than enough for this little tiny room. I think it's 10 foot by 10 foot. And I've got a little propane heater right down here on the floor that I use in the wintertime, which is pretty short here, but the air conditioner runs all summer. So hope you have fun. Like I said, send me your questions if you've got them. I appreciate them, and I'll talk to you again on the next video very soon. So until next time, this is Jim, W5FIV.